You're listening to the OMG Hour.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 283 of the OMG Hour. It is January 25th, 2018. And, of course, I am Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane. Yes, yes, we're looking at Jeff's crotch there.
I'm Jeff. I'm wondering why my front light is not working and why I am not illuminated. I am not illuminated at all. Is this thing plugged in? How's it going, gentlemen?
Good, Chico. While he's figuring that out.
All right, Chico, Mr. Second Place here, trying to figure out what the heck Jeff is trying to do.
Seriously, talk about not being ready.
Yeah, we were both like ready with our stuff ready to go.
I'm ready. I've been ready for over an hour. Give me a break. I just realized.
Nice, blinding himself with his light.
Well, I just didn't have.
You look very prepared, sir. Very prepared.
I'll show you prepared. There you go.
Okay, show us prepared. What'd you play this week?
I bought The Division, finally. I've been hemming and hawing about this. I tricked Sean into buying it.
Yeah, you
by
did.
Being like, wouldn't The Division be fun to play again? And he's like, it would be fun to play again. Anyway, so I realized that I had some credited EB games, and I bought it used for $19.99, and I have the Onyx card, so I didn't even have to pay tax.
Nice.
Is that what the Onyx card does?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, no, it gives you essentially 15% off.
Which saves you the tax.
You pay no tax, and you get a couple extra percentages off.
Yeah.
Because I have one of those too, but I don't know what it actually does. They just ask me for my card every time.
It's only really good if you trade in games or buy used games. That's really all it's good for.
Which you do all the time.
Me?
Yeah, you buy. Well, you did
all the time.
Well,
some of the time,
more than I do. Like you buy more physical stuff than I do.
Yeah, occasionally.
Right.
I deal shop. I buy some things if I know that I'm not gonna keep something or play something for a long time.
Yeah.
Then I'll buy it. Like Horizon Zero Dawn. I played, and then I traded in because I'm not gonna keep it around forever. Right? I'm gonna move on to the next.
Did you finish it?
No.
Oh, you dude.
Oh, you're on Sean's bad list now.
You missed out on.
I played a lot of it. It's really good. I missed
out on one of the greatest.
Jeff, the whole show is going to get reordered. We're going to redo a new list, and you're going to be moved to the bottom of the list now.
Things that suck, Jeff.
Yeah.
All right. So you've been playing Division, so we're going to try to get in there and play again. I think the video I couldn't get for you today you're about level 10, I think, right? You said?
Somewhere and around there. I'm somewhere. I just played again. I think I'm higher than level 10 actually, but it was. It's interesting to see how much they've changed the game. There's new areas in the base.
Yeah, right. You go back. You go to the back of the base where the special guy used to be, and there's these doors that go downstairs into this basement. Like, wait, where did this come from?
Yeah, didn't know that. And there's new stuff down there. They've got loot crates now, which I don't think they had before.
That was just added.
Was it?
Was it? No, you know what? No, I read something today that they're going to add loot crates to Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Yeah.
It's cosmetic only, apparently. It'll be nothing game changing.
That's exactly how it is in the Division. And it's interesting. When I logged in, I've probably opened, 7 of those loot crates so far, and I haven't spent a penny. Yeah. I haven't spent anything. You sort of earn them through the in-game achievements, not like the actual achievements, but like these little mini micro achievements.
Challenges.
The challenges and stuff,
by beating challenges, you get little key fragments that you get 10, it turns into a key. Then you could get a bunch through the Ubisoft, what is that, Ubi Club or whatever it's called?
Ubi Club? Yeah,
something like that. Anyway, so, I'm playing it again, and I'm just reminded, like, that single-player campaign is so much fun.
It really is.
So good. It's so good.
Now, did you solo the actual campaign missions so far?
So far, I've only played by myself.
Yeah. They're
harder than I remember.
They are, but I found them easier than when we first. I don't think we could have soloed them the first time we played the game.
I agree with you, but I also suspect the game has much like Diablo. It has scaling for if you're in a party.
Yeah, it does.
So,
it absolutely does.
It does.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, when we first started playing the game, I don't think we could have soloed it like we can now, because now we're more familiar with the game itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've got the experience in the game.
Sean thinks we're better at games, is what he's saying.
Yeah, we're better at this game.
That game.
We're better at this game now. That's right.
I definitely know that I have to take out the running guys first.
Yeah. Oh my
I definitely know. I did a fight today where I'm fighting this flamethrower guy in like a mall that goes like around these balconies and around. And I remember when we had played him before, we had a hard time because I played that mission with you previously.
I got stuck on the tracks.
Yeah. And this time when I was doing that boss, I kited him around these corridors, and he couldn't hit me because he was always too far away. And I agree. I am much smarter now. Anyway, I don't want to talk about too much. We've talked about Division before, but good game, and I'm very impressed to see all the improvements they've done. There's been a lot of updates.
Yeah.
Shockingly,
a lot.
They just continue to invest money in that game, and I remember thinking how crazy that was. Like when they're like, "We've just overhauled this whole like Dark Zone system. We just added all this PvP," and I'm like, "Whoa, why are you spending money on this game?" And the last thing I'll say is that and there's global events now, like big things. There's something going on. I'm not high enough level to do it, so I don't know what it is. The last thing I'll say is I am shocked at again at how many people are still playing. I'm always running into people anytime I ever go into a safe house or
in the safe houses, sure.
In the safe house. Right. Well, not out in the open because you can't run into people there. But I'm really impressed with how many people I'm still seeing playing the game.
Yeah, me too. Okay, I want to talk about the stuff I've been playing because I've been playing some pretty fun stuff. So I don't know if you guys remember Hero Academy. It was on mobile about 6 years ago. I remember because when I first moved into this house, I was playing it here at Christmas, just enjoying my holidays, and it was a great game. It was from Robot Entertainment, and it was a bit of a strategy, like a board game. Yeah, like a chess style. I vaguely
remember playing this game. Yeah.
So they just and I didn't even know this was coming. Suddenly, last week, I get an email saying, "Oh, guess what? Hero Academy 2 is out now." I'm like, wait, what? Hero? I didn't even know it was being made, let alone now it's out. And I'm trying to remember if I don't think the original had the card mechanics in it. So they've added now, it's still the same type of game where you have to destroy your opponent's crystals on this sort of like a chessboard. And you have units that each have different abilities. But what they've done now is they've added the deck builder mechanic to it. So you have different factions and different decks that you can put together, and you can create your own decks and mix and match cards, that sort of thing. And those cards is what brings out your units that you play. You bring out the unit onto the board, place it where you want, and then it's now a playable asset on the board. Cards can also give them bonuses like a +1 to their sword or a +1 to their health, or give them a shield, that sort of thing. Great game. What a great addition to it. Now, it is, because it's a deck builder, there is a lot of microtransaction ability in it, though I have yet to spend real money on it at all. They actually give you a lot to do in the base game, which is solo, without having to go online and play against real people, right? But that is also where the fun of the game is finding an opponent to actually play against, rather than against the AI. But there are a lot of AI missions and campaigns and challenges to play in the game if you never want to actually play online with someone, right? So there's a lot of content.
Yeah. Are you playing on your phone or on your tablet?
I'm actually playing on my phone.
Yeah, see, I tried it on the phone. I find it's, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it was really tiny. Like, I'm having a hard time reading the cards and stuff like that.
Well, oh, no, I don't have an issue with it. If you just hold the card, it comes up full screen.
I know, I just don't like doing that. So much work.
You don't like holding cards and reading them?
No.
Well, that's probably why you have trouble reading them, because you don't want to read them.
That's probably it. Yeah.
No, actually, I'm actually really enjoying it. I loved the original Hero Academy. I had no idea this one was coming. I highly recommend it. Now, I haven't played against, like, online with anyone, but you can play with your friends. If you add your friends, you can actually do it through Facebook or whatever. You can add your friends in and actually invite them to a duel. Right, so you can play with anyone you want, or you can just go into a duel and find a random player who's also looking for a match. And every day there's loot. Well, I'm going to call them loot crates, but essentially every day there's a timer, and you'll get new in-game currency on a regular basis. So you win in-game currency by winning matches, but you also get free in-game currency like every 4 hours, every 24 hours, based on which chest it is, right? So the game is constantly doling out in-game currency. So if you basically wait long enough, you would never actually have to spend money if you don't want to, right? So spending money would just get you something faster, as opposed to waiting and saving up your coins or your gems to buy something. Right.
Now, question.
Yeah.
Question. How many hours would you say you're into this game?
How many hours? Oh, I don't know. I go in and I play like 1 or 2 matches a day type thing. So it's
okay.
I'm not in it for hours at a time. I'm in it for like 15 minutes.
So one of the things that I've noticed about these games, like games of this vein where it's like card battling, this has got a little bit different, but like you could equate this to that Blizzard one as well. I don't remember what it's called, but anyway.
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone, right. But these games, like, they all start out, and you can go pretty far, but there's like a curve, and after a while, you have to start spending money if you want to continue playing. Like, even if you're getting a little bit, maybe things are getting more expensive or blah, 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 but like the more time you invest, the more, if you want to stay competitive, that you have to keep spending money.
You're going to want some premium packs, but like I said, you can buy those premium packs with gems, and the game does give you gems generously. So if you just
right now it does, but I wonder if it will continue to do that as you get further and further into the game.
It's a daily thing, though, right? It's a daily timer. So every 4 hours, I get like 25 gems.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
So we'll see. We'll see how it works.
I get gems and I get coins by finishing matches and challenges, but every 4 hours there is a small chest that you open that could be ink to create cards, and you can create cards as well. That's the nice thing too, is you can actually create like a legendary card if you as you get more cards than you need, because you can only have, say, 4 of a certain card in your deck. But if you happen to get like 6 of that card, you can basically break down 2 of them into ink, which is used to create a card. So if there's a card you want, you just have to save up your ink and make it, and it takes like a day. There's time behind creating the card. But you can either buy cards, you can create cards by using ink, or you can save up your gems and buy packs, which have 5 random cards in it. So what I like about this is they've added multiple ways of getting cards and currency, which is really nice, right? And so far, I haven't felt like I needed to spend real money because they've generously given me in-game currency as I'm playing through the challenges and campaign.
That sounds good. I'm always distrustful of these games, though. It's just keep playing another 200 hours and let's see what happens.
What I like about this game versus things like Hearthstone, where Hearthstone is, and like, you know, Magic, where it's just the cards. This is actually like a chessboard where the cards actually bring out a character onto the board, and then you're moving that character and doing battle with it. Right, so you still have this once the unit is on the board, you still have the strategy of just playing the game itself. The cards themselves are only to bring those things out onto the battlefield, which is much different than things like Hearthstone, where it's just card battles. Right?
Yeah.
So that is Hero Academy 2. I'm really, really loving it. And one of the games in VR that I couldn't wait for it to come out is already out now, and that is The Inpatient. This is from the makers of Until Dawn, and this takes place in the same world as Until Dawn. So this is an Until Dawn IP. But this takes place, it's a prequel to Until Dawn, much like years before. It tells the story of like the downfall of the sanitarium. You wake up in this thing, you're in a wheelchair, and you're basically being told to remember what happened to you. And you have to answer questions given to you. What's neat about this is when there is dialogue choice, you can either use the controller to choose which dialogue you want to say, or you can say it.
Well, that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah. So because with PSVR, there's a microphone on the headset, right? So it hears you. You can just say the items you want to say, and that's the way I've been playing. So you can kind of, it really puts you into that character. When the game starts, you have an option to pick whether you're male or female, and pick your skin tone, so that when you look down at yourself, you can kind of feel like it's actually you there. You know,
neat.
Little things like that in there. But now, with it being Until Dawn, this is not a game for Jeff. This
is it a zombie game? I don't know what Until Dawn is.
Oh, no, nothing to do with zombies. But this is a scary game. Let me tell you.
A lot of jump scares?
It is. No, see, that's the nice thing about this, is it doesn't rely on jump scares. I mean, there are things happening, but it really relies on like just your mental fear of like what's going on. Like there's nothing around, there's dead bodies. What are those sounds I'm hearing? It's more like that, just that terror feeling.
Okay.
Right? More than jump scares. Don't get me wrong, there are jump scares. But a lot of it is surrounding the mystery of who are you? Why are you there? Why don't you remember what's happened to you? There are items in your room that you can interact with that give you glimpses of your past, right? So you're kind of trying to piece together what's happened to you. Really, really well done. I haven't finished the whole thing. My understanding is it's not a super long narrative, but it is so well done, and it is like... Honestly, when I was done playing this I played it for a little over an hour, I think, the first night I had it. And it was late at night. I think it was almost midnight by the time I was done. And of course, I take the headset off, and it's pitch dark in my room. And I'm walking upstairs, and I literally still feel like there's stuff behind me. I feel that creepy feeling that I had in the game. Like,
hard pass. hard pass.
Chico, you would love this.
I would enjoy that, except for the fact that the VR stuff I still get a little nauseous and motion sickness from.
I get that. I don't feel that in this. You have the that's another thing. Really good controls in this game, right? So you can move freely. Like essentially, you're kind of always moving forward, and then you just do like the click turn. But yeah, the controls, really well done. There's no point and click controls. You can just move where you want to go. You can look around freely. And there's really good psychological horror, really, this is, you know. And there's a lot of choices. They have the butterfly effect, which they had it Until Dawn. So all of your choices will move the narrative in a different direction. And that comes right down to, do I go in this door? Or do I decide to go down to the hallway and choose, and which hallway path do I go? That changes the narrative you're going to get, right? And so they've done it with all these many different branching stories. And then there's very key elements that when you make a decision, you'll get like these butterflies will fly across the screen. That tells you that what you just made was a major decision, which will majorly change the story outcome. Right?
Really?
But inside it, there are slight changes to what you're experiencing. Do you go left at the end of the hallway, or do you go right? That sort of thing, right? And each direction will give you a different experience. So well done. I'm
so never playing this.
Right? No, I don't think.
Especially in freaking VR. No way.
And it is really, really immersive because it's in VR. It's great. It is great. If you loved Until Dawn and you have PSVR, you owe it to yourself to play the Inpatient. Really, really good. And one more VR thing, and then I'll give the table over to Tico to talk about his stuff. This is a game I've had for a couple of months now. This is called The Invisible Hours. This is honestly one of the most immersive or intriguing VR experiences I've had to date. It's not a game and it's not a movie, but it's kind of both in one. The idea of the Invisible Hours, it is telling a story over the course of 4 acts. Okay? In full VR, you have full control of where you are in the scene as all the actors, as the story is all playing out around you. And you can follow each individual character. There are 7 characters in this narrative. You can follow each of those characters throughout the entire narrative and watch where they go, what they do during the course of the whole story. Because in any story you're watching, this is a murder mystery, The Invisible Hours. All contained on this tiny little island in Nikola Tesla's home. You walk in, Nikola Tesla is found murdered. We don't know who did it. And Gustav, who's the investigator who has just arrived, he's trying to piece together what happened and who murdered Nikola Tesla. That is the gist of it.
It was the butler. The butler did it.
Maybe there is a butler.
Yeah.
You can interact with items in the game. Some items are clues. Others just give you backstory and information. You find letters. You find pictures of the characters. You find Nikola Tesla's diary. So there are items in the house that you can find and click on and interact with. But what's awesome about this is each chapter is about 11 to 15 minutes long. It's not so the whole story is probably going to take place over the course of about an hour. But I had played the first chapter only for about at least 2 hours or more. Because what I did is I went through and I followed every single character throughout the entire first chapter to find out what were they doing when they weren't in this main scene. Where were they? What were they doing? And that actually opens up other scenes that you wouldn't have seen had you only followed the main character. Right? So you're kind of at the same time piecing together the mystery yourself. You know, you follow this one guy and he's talking, maybe he's talking to someone else and a clue might come up of something you didn't realize before.
Is there any actual gameplay, is there anything you actually have to do? Do you have to figure out who done it by the end of it?
That's the thing. That's where I said it's not a game per se. Imagine you are literally just a fly on the wall in this murder mystery, and you can go anywhere on the grounds of the house and watch the events unfold from any angle, from any person's. You follow any character and figure out what they're doing at any point in this narrative. You can pause the action, you can rewind it, you can fast forward it. And from there, you freely move around and watch the narrative unfold from whatever angle you want. And that's what's brilliant about it. It's so incredible. Honestly, I'm having an amazing time with this. And I can't wait to actually go through every chapter and watch that chapter from every character's point of view. Right? Chapter 2, which I've just gone through, the narratives in chapter 1, they're introducing all the characters, so a lot of it is taking place in the foyer of the house, right? So a lot of the narratives are in that main area. You kind of seen it anyway, but when the game first starts, it takes about 3-4 minutes for Gustav to come up from the boat, for example, right? During that time, I'm thinking, well, what are all the other characters doing in the house? So instead of watching him walk up the stairs, which is where the game starts, I go into the house and watch all the other characters and see what are they doing before he even arrives. And you kind of get a peek into other pieces of the story. It is so good, honestly. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but just imagine you are watching a movie, but you can actually go into the set and watch what every character does when they're not on screen. Right? They're off doing their own thing. Well, now you can actually go and watch what they're doing. And maybe you get another piece of information that someone else doesn't know. And you learn a little bit more about that character.
It looks cool. It looks pretty neat.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not kidding when I say that this is one of the most engaging VR experiences I've had to date. I am having a wonderful time with this. This is called The Invisible Hours. It's from Tequila Works, and it was published by the Game Trust, by EB Games Game Trust.
Really?
Yeah, they published it. So good. I honestly, I love it so much that I would like to see more of this kind of experience. I think it's a brilliant idea.
It's possible this could be the next walking simulator sort of thing. So it could take off. You could see many of these.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a really good point. This really is kind of like a VR version of a walking simulator. Only it allows you to view that same story from many different angles, and watch it over again from a different person's point of view.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it looks interesting.
Yeah,
I'd love to see them make a Clue game like this.
Well, this is kind of what this is. This really is kind of like watching a well, it's not live action, but it's VR. It's like watching a Clue movie unfold.
Yeah.
Where were you during this time? Well, I'm going to go back in time and actually find out where you were during that time, because I'm going to watch you. So, yeah, really good. You can choose whatever angle. You can move yourself around the house freely, search it. You can, I like to just pause the narrative and just kind of search around the room and then start up the narrative again and watch it unfold. And then I watch it again while following a different character, and I get basically a different story. And as I was saying before, in Chapter 2, all the characters kind of go off in their own way. So I actually got several different narratives during Chapter 2 because they weren't all together at that time. So they all went off and were doing their own thing. So I got 3 or 4 different narratives just in Chapter 2. So yeah, anyway, that's the Invisible Hours. Excellent. Again, wonderful VR experience. Just not one you want to pass up, in my opinion. Tico.
Yes.
It's your turn to regale us with your button pressing.
All right, so first thing I did, I played some Assassin's Creed The Hidden Ones, which is the new DLC that has come out.
I want to see how well you are at stealth. How good are you?
Okay, listen, so my version of stealth is only alerting 6 to 10 enemies at a time, and then proceeding to kill them all.
How do you play this game when there's no shotguns? I don't understand.
I use the machete, and I just.
Is it a machete shotgun?
That would be awesome.
See,
actually.
I love in the video here, Tico, how you walk out, a guy sees you, and you just stand there. You don't
look, and then look, I killed him. See,
that's one heck of a machete. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyway, how is The Hidden Ones? It takes place 4 years later.
Yeah, it takes place 4 years after the original content. So you open it up, it's in your map, and it says oh, you have there's new content. So you go in your map to an area where you take a boat, and it's like, are you sure you want to do this content now? And you say yes, and then it pops you. It's a much smaller map than the original, so it brings you into Sinai. So just a small area of Sinai. So there's about 2 or 3 zones in there. It's all a lot more vertical, but less developed. It's a lot of Grand Canyon type of stuff as they're building mines and things like that. So you get a cool story to follow along. So it's nice to be able to pop back in and play some more story to this.
So this, my understanding is, this basically covers the first years of creating the Hidden Ones, which is the Assassin Order. They're not called the Assassins yet. They're calling themselves the Hidden Ones. So it just basically, is it just following him as he develops the Brotherhood?
Yeah, so far, you've started this thing, and there's some, obviously some Romans, and there's you can't kill this guy until you kill 3 of his, closest friends and stuff like that. So you're basically going around.
So you'd still have a pyramid of guys to take down.
Yeah, so there's 3 guys, and then they'll give you another mission to go after another guy who looks, he's like a big Roman guy with wearing a bear fur on his head. And
because that's what they do.
They did, yeah.
It shows how tough you are if you got a bear on your head.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're assuming that you have killed that bear to wear it as a hat.
Yeah. Cool. So it's good DLC then.
Yeah, it's good. It gives you what you want. It gives you more story, and the story is well presented again.
Good,
again,
because,
I'm not great at hiding, so I just kill people.
I like the fact that they are continuing Bayek's story rather than giving us an alternate history story or something completely different. Like what they did with all the others. Ever since Assassin's Creed 3, The DLC has never been a continuation of the story. It's been something completely different.
Yeah, like, well, let's see this all this stuff from the point of view of the dog,
right?
You know, from the first scene, or something.
Yeah, no, it's so I'm glad that they're doing a story with Bayek and just continuing it. That's great.
And just so we're clear, once I killed the main guy that you're supposed to kill in this little mission part, the next bit of to finish off the mission was to kill everybody else in the camp, anyways.
Oh, so, good. I would have done it without ever being seen. Just saying.
Well, technically, none of the guys lived to talk about it, so.
All right.
I mean,
all right, we're well on in time here, so let's talk about some other games you got here.
All right, Flying Tiger something of the something. I can't remember.
Shadows over China.
That's the one. I knew it had a tagline or something like that.
It's an air combat game.
Yes.
That you are a master at, I understand.
I am like really bad at this game. The controls are not very friendly. Like, I've played, air combat games before and done much, much better. It is really hard to line up and lock on to a guy. There is no lock on. I don't know.
There was no lock on in World War II.
There was. You had to, it was DLC. You had to, pay for it.
It was a loot box.
It was a loot box. But there's no lock in, and then so you'll fly, and then the guy will fly slightly out of range, and you're just to okay, I got to turn left to follow him, and it'd be you either massively overcorrect or undercorrect, or you're not going fast enough or too slow. I mean, it's probably just to get used to it after a while, but I am finding that I am not good at it. There's some strafing missions you have to do. You can see I'm all over the place trying to aim at this plane.
How do you strafe in an airplane?
It's a strafing run. It's just when you fly straight,
you go down and you shoot at the ground.
Oh, I gotcha.
It's not strafing. It's not like circle strafing in a shooter.
Oh,
yeah, no. It's a term that's used in airplaning.
Oh, okay. No. So,
it's a thing.
So you're finding the controls, are they just too sensitive? What's going on?
It feels like they're I don't know, it feels like it's really when you're just doing your regular flying, it's not sensitive enough, and then you go to correct something, and then it's and now we're gonna do a barrel roll out of the way.
Almost
you're trying to make a minute adjustment. It's the guy's slightly up, and you press up, and it's and I'm doing a spin for some reason.
Okay.
So graphically, I mean, it feels it's got that sort of World War II haze, when you watch those old, World War II infomercials and stuff like that. It sort of got that haze on it, which graphically it doesn't look fantastic. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not. I don't want to say. I don't love it. I don't love it, and I want to say it's because it's not done as well, and not because I'm terrible at it. I feel that's sort of copping out because I'm really bad at it, which might be the reason why I'm not enjoying it. But Mission 1, I had a real hard time with it.
Honestly, that's fair, because for years I hated shooters because I was terrible at them. It's hard to like a game you can't play.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody who loves this style of game and is really good at it would probably really enjoy themselves. But I can't. I got through the training mission. And then Mission 1, it's kill these guys, and I'm dying super fast. It's the first mission you get is a protect mission too. It's there's a guy shooting your friend, so take them out before your friend's dead, and then your friend's dead in a matter of seconds. And it's well, I can't even line up, I can't even catch up to the guy in time to shoot him. So,
all right, cool.
Maybe it's me. I don't know.
You have one more game that Jeff needs to pay attention to.
Jeff's
it's right up his alley.
Favorite genres altogether.
Lord. Okay, so
Mutant League football.
Jeff, it's sports and zombies.
Yeah.
Are they zombies? Are they mutants?
Some of them are zombies. There are some zombies. The referee is a skeleton.
What bugs me most about these games? They just assume everybody knows how to play football. I have no idea how to play football. They show all these circles and X's and lines, and I'm I don't know what any of these means. I don't know what a first down is.
I have no clue.
You have to know how to play football.
Good. First down is good.
Sure, great.
So do you want me to explain? I can explain football.
No, I really don't. Just
we don't have time for that.
Talk about this game.
All right. So
is it good? Is it bad? I don't care.
It is a football game. It harkens back to what was it? Sean, do you know what the original was on Mutant League Football? Was it Sega?
Genesis.
Yeah,
Sega.
Yeah. So it's basically
in the chat. I'm sure he knows.
Yeah. It is a pretty version of that. You get, made-up teams, the Nuke Island Patriots, or Hatriots. So they're like, puns on the names of actual teams.
Is it?
They are. It is. It's a thing. And all your players as well are puns of actual players' names. Tom Brady is Bomb Brady, or Bomb Shady, or something like that.
Tom Brady was an actor.
Tom Brady's a football player.
He's the quarterback for the
Tom
New England.
Hardy is an actor.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. So you clearly you're enthralled by this. Enthralled, I can tell. It's a basic football game. You have the added thing of dirty tricks that you can do. Some of them are like
dirt cheap.
No, they're not. They're very costly. Like you can bribe the ref, so calls will go in your favor, and if the other team has bribed the ref, you have the option of using a dirty trick to kill the ref, so the bribe goes away. There's you can run with a shotgun and take out guys as you're going. There's a chainsaw arm that you can do as you're running as well. So it's a basic football game with a few added little twists.
I don't care.
You don't care.
I don't care.
Well, that's true. This we were mentioning this one here really just for Jeff.
Yeah, I figured Jeff would like this one.
Yeah, it's you know what? It is a fun game to play for a football fan, with the Super Bowl coming up soon too, which I know you guys are really hyped about.
I had no idea.
You can't say that name online. You'll get sued by the NFL.
I didn't. I said super hole.
No, we said superb owl.
The superb owl.
The superb owl is yes. With that coming up, people may be interested. It's a fun little game. If you're looking for a real, true to life football, you play Madden. If you want something a little goofy and a little fun, this is a fun game to play. I've played it. I think about 10 games into the season now. It's fun to play. It's not great. The controls aren't fantastic, but it's fun.
All right. Well, before we get into the stuff we like to talk about, let's look at another game that is also old and was fun to play.
Lost Treasures with your gaming archaeologist, Sid Bolton.
It's not too often that the engine for a sports game can be turned into something completely different, like an action strategy shoot-'em-up game, and yet that's what happened with the engine for the game Sensible Soccer. Programmers at Sensible Software modified that engine slightly to produce Cannon Fodder, a fun game originally developed on the Amiga, but then ported to other platforms like MS-DOS, Atari ST, Jaguar, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, and even the Game Boy Color, and a few others as well. Released in 1993, Cannon Fodder is a military-themed shooter that is action-based, but has a strategy game-style control system. A thinking man's shooter, if you will, with dark humor about it that'll have you controlling up to 5 people on your squad. As you progress in the game, you have to take out other soldiers, and weapons and vehicles and buildings are in there as well. There are 23 missions that are divided into sections, giving you a total of 72 levels. On the Amiga, that came packed in on 3 discs, and believe me, those discs are full of music, graphics, and often humorous sound effects. Cannon Fodder received both praise and some criticism when it released. Players overall loved how the game played, but some people thought that its view on war wasn't the greatest. Regardless of the setting of the game, at its core, this is just a fun experience. Now, Cannon Fodder spawned 2 sequels, Cannon Fodder 2, which came out less than a year after the original, and Cannon Fodder 3, which came out in 2011, 18 years after the original. But it didn't have any of the original developers involved, so you take it for what you will. If you're the type that thinks strategy games are too slow or cerebral for you, give this one a try. I think it's a perfect mix of action and strategy, and it's a lot of fun, even for people who have wildly different playstyles. Until next time, I'm Sid Bolton, your gaming archaeologist, digging up the lost treasures for you, right here on OMG Nexus and the OMG Hour.
All right, let's get into the stuff we like to talk about. We only have 20 minutes left, gentlemen, and then I'm out of here.
What? Where are you going?
I have band practice. Anyway, let's
like you're a band.
Let's talk about the most important development in video gaming history.
Oh God, don't do this to us, Sean.
The Nintendo Labo. We just
All right, now listen.
The future of video games right here in cardboard form.
I had this idea when I was 6 and built a robot bodysuit out of milk crates and shoe boxes. So Nintendo has stolen my idea.
Right?
And I'm planning on suing them for royalties on this.
I was a robot for Halloween one year.
All right. Well, you're older than me, so you may have
I have dibs on
precedent on the patent. So I don't know. Maybe we'll split the money we get from Nintendo off of this.
Okay. First of all, I think everyone knows what Labo is. It's cardboard creations that basically interact, or the Switch interacts with these cardboard creations to do stuff, and you get games with. There's a fishing game. You can build a fishing rod.
I'm sure everybody knows what it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Everybody must by now.
So
it's weird.
Jeff, actually, I want to know from both of you. Both of you have young children.
Mm-hmm.
Does this interest your kids at all? Do they know what this is? Like, have they expressed any interest in it?
They absolutely know what it is. They asked me if I knew what it was, and explained to me how much they wanted it.
Really?
At which point I said, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to spend over $100 on cardboard. Ironically, the next day, I had to buy some moving boxes. So I went online to Amazon and saw the prices of moving boxes, and it's pretty much just as expensive as a Labo. I can't figure this out.
Here's what you do. You go to the liquor store, and you ask if they got any boxes, and they usually have a pile of them by in the front corner where you can just pick them up for stuff like that.
I can't do that. I'm too OCD about moving. I want all my boxes to look nice. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Labo. I think it's fun for kids in the same way that like kids programming stuff is fun for kids. Like Oliver's does a lot of drag and drop programming in school.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's where the fun is, because there's a lot of like build your own stuff. It's essentially I was going to say really expensive Lego, but there's another thing that's expensive. It's like a Lego set to me, right? Where you can buy this kit and it comes with software that you put in your Switch, and you could program things. Like, do I expect that motorcycle racing game to be a good motorcycle racing game? No, it's going to be a terrible game.
It's going to be I can't think of the name right offhand.
They said right off the bat that this was going to be for kids and
kids at heart, and
grown-ups that are kids at heart. Right, exactly. Sorry, and I think that's very true. Oliver is very excited. He can't wait to try and build all this stuff and play with it and all that kind of stuff. And you know
here's what I don't get, and I'm not sure if they've said it, is like they keep talking about building your own things.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can build your own things, but how do you make the Switch interact with your own thing? Is there going to be some kind of like a Dreams or a Little Big Planet style kit, like building kit in there as well? Like that, I don't understand.
Well, I don't think you're making your own games. I think you can make your own like robots that move. But I don't think you're actually playing game. I don't know. I mean, we've seen almost nothing, right? We've seen one trailer. We know as much as anybody else does. I'm curious to see what it's going to be, but I don't know. For kids, is it expensive? Yes, it's very expensive. In Canada, I fear how much it's going to cost.
It's going to be $69 for the main kit, $79, I think, and this is US, so $70 and $80 for each kit. So in Canada, it's going to be like $80 and $90. So is it really that expensive, considering the one of them is going to give you, I don't know how many games, or I wouldn't even call them games. I'm
not going to call them games because
they're experiments.
I have no faith that they're going to be games at all. I think that it's going to be
one's a piano, right?
Shovelware. Yeah, like that's. I get it. It's going to be fun to build, but after you've built it, and you've played with the piano for 2 minutes, or you've played the terrible motorcycle racing game for 2 minutes.
What are you going to do with it?
What are you going to do? And that's where the programming and make your own stuff is going to come in. I do not expect this to be like a peripheral, like a PlayStation aim controller, or I don't think it's going to be something like that. I think it's going to be like the equivalent of like not Meccano. What is it? Lego Mindstorms. I think this is more like Lego Mindstorms than it is anything else.
But Lego Mindstorms allows you to create your own things. This is what I'm not.
So will this.
But this is what I'm saying. How does this interact with your creation? How do you
put your creation into the game?
Yeah.
You're going to... No, I don't think there is a game. I think that you're going to have some sort of control panel that's going to control vibration motors, and you're going to make things move. Or something. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. The whole thing is quite odd. I mean, leave it to Nintendo to figure out a way to sell you cardboard.
Yeah, seriously, didn't see that coming.
And think about the first time you accidentally sit on one of your kids' things and have to spend another $70 because you accidentally
go to Amazon and get some moving boxes.
Yeah, well, it's about the same cost.
Go to the liquor store.
Liquor store.
Cheaper.
Actually, my corner store here has a U-Haul boxes. Just take one. It says leave a box, take a box. So you can come on over, Jeff, and you just take a whole bunch of boxes for free.
No problem. I'm on my way.
Excellent.
I'll be there sometime tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I don't
know what else to say about it. It's weird. Did I see it coming? No. Did anybody see it coming? No.
Did anybody think that that Wii Fit was going to be big and people were going to be rushing out to buy a scale?
Yes,
to play games on.
Actually, I did. I knew
Wii Fit was going to be big. Before they announced it, though, did you really? Would you have thought that Nintendo's going to come out with a scale?
No.
I had no idea. The thing is, they seem to know what they're doing with this stuff, and this is probably going to sell millions and millions of dollars worth of cardboard, and we can blame them for the rainforests being cut down to make more of these things now.
Right. Yeah, I would really like to know if you, again, I keep saying it, I just don't understand how when you create your own creation, what do you do with it? There's got to be some kind of a creation engine.
You play with it.
In there to do something. You got to be able to program it somehow is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't understand what that is. What is that programming mechanic and how do you use it? That's what I'm more interested in, is how do you create your own things using the Labo software?
It's going to be like drag and drop programming language, guaranteed. Make vibration motor, tie a button to this, run the program.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, and maybe it's something that they'll update as it goes. Add new abilities, add new things you can do. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's only so much you can make a piece of cardboard do when you've got pretty much just vibration motors, right?
I'm going to make a VR kit.
All right, let's do it.
I'm going to make a wall.
Oh, excellent. Nice.
That's it. That's all I can do.
All right, while we're on the topic of Nintendo, I read an interesting article. Game developers are saying that their games are selling as well, if not better, on Nintendo Switch. So it's getting a lot
Then what? What's the baseline?
Than
expected?
Than expected, yeah. Better or...
Okay.
So
they're beating their own estimates.
They're beating their own estimates. That their game would sell normally. So, and then they release it on Switch and it sells as well, if not better, than on other platforms. Which I think is great. So a lot of developers, they've got a lot of love for the Switch. But at the same time, what this article told me is, and let me see if I can bring it up. I hope there's no autoplay on this.
Well, I'm clicking it too, so if there is, we're going to get it in the stereo.
So, developers are overwhelmingly confident the Switch is going to outpace Wii U's lifetime sales. Here we go. The rise in interest for the Nintendo Switch among game developers is in contrast to a decline from the same group for interest in virtual reality. Last year, 24% of respondents said they were working on a VR game, while this year that number has dwindled to 17%. That's sad. I find that sad. I mean, I guess I'm kind of not surprised. I don't think VR is quite the hit that I think we wanted it to be.
No, well, the cost to get into VR is still quite high.
It is, I know.
I don't think that Sony nor Oculus nor Valve have done enough to make people want to buy VR.
I think you're right. Absolutely.
I'm not surprised that other companies aren't investing if the platform holders aren't investing. They should be dumping tons of money into software development. Tons. If they really want to kickstart it as a platform, when that platform costs like $600, they have to invest too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. So
I'm not surprised. I agree.
Yeah, so going back to game devs saying that it's selling better, games are selling better on Switch. The article says the majority of respondents to the question, have Switch game sales compared to the average across all platforms that you launched on, have they been better? And they answered that they've been either average or greater than average.
I don't know. That also seems like the line of questioning was sort of geared to get the answer that they wanted as well, though.
Yeah. So there's one other thing that I want everybody to keep in mind, and that is a long time ago in this galaxy right here, back in the Xbox 360 launch period, there was a lot of articles talking about the Xbox Live Arcade sales numbers and people talking about software attachment rates that were astronomically higher than what anybody else was expecting because the store was new, games were cheap, and everybody was excited to try out all this new Xbox Live Arcade stuff. And I feel like the Switch is still... I mean, they're still in year one, right? I didn't go in a time machine.
Yeah,
we're still
March.
in the first year of Switch. Yeah,
March.
We're still in that grace period where sales are going to be higher, I think, for the next little while. And then as we get into the lifespan, I expect it to taper off a little bit more. But I mean, average is good. Greater than average, we'll see. I will say that I think the store on the Switch is pretty good. Mm-hmm. Like, all things considered, it is a clean store. It's fast. It's easy to get into. It's mostly well organized, considering the small number of games they have. As they continue to expand their library, they're going to need more. But, it's a conversation for another day.
Yeah. Before we move on, Tico, going back to your comment that you're going to build a wall with Labo.
Yeah.
Glenn said that President Trump is going to sue you for building a wall, so you can't do that.
Well, he's just going to you're not going to be able to find cardboard. That's what he's going to use to build his wall.
He's going to build his wall with Labo.
Just giant Labo wall separating, U.S. and Mexico. That would actually be. I'd be entertained if he did that. That would be fun.
Glenn also says that VR is falling behind because all those developers see the value in Labo.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Right. By the way, hello, Brian, and hello to Glenn watching us right now.
Hey, guys.
Hello, gentlemen.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, moving on.
Pretty incredible news this week that Microsoft Game Pass is going to expand to include first-party games day and date on the service.
Yes.
Things like Halo 6, Crackdown, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, all going to be released to Game Pass the day it is available.
At no additional charge.
No additional charge. So in the US, it's $10 a month. I think it's $15 in Canada. Isn't
12.
That right?
12. Because I actually signed up. For the free trial the other day because of this news. I was not interested at all, but that actually piqued my interest enough.
Why did you sign up now?
I don't know, because it's a 14-day free trial.
But there's nothing out right now. Why didn't you wait till something was out? I grabbed
some stuff off. It's $12. Calm down.
Oh my gosh.
I grabbed it because there's a few things on there I wanted to try, so I'm playing a couple of games off of there. It's all right, but now, to have that added in is pretty cool.
Now, is it only monthly, or can you buy is it cheaper to buy it more?
I believe at EB Games and at some retail locations you can buy 6-month cards and stuff like that.
Glenn, is that true? You'll be our EB guy on the line right now.
Answer that. When you sign up on the service, it's only a monthly option. So you sign up for the 14-day trial, and then they'll say we'll bill you $11.99 a month following.
So it's the same price. It's literally the same price as Netflix right now.
Yes.
Right. Because I think Netflix is $11.99 or $10.99 a month now. So, but now the selection of games you saw right now, Tico, is it worth it?
The games, there are some pretty good games on there. Stuff like Recore, Gears of War, like for stuff that people haven't played before, like a new person, then might be worth it for them. There was probably about 20 games on there that I didn't already own.
Well, wow. Glenn wasn't too far off. Glenn was not too far off. To be fair, he says, Tico, there's 160 games in it, but the way you press buttons, you probably own 155 of them.
Yeah, no. I own. There's about 20 of them that I didn't own. Not counting the 360 stuff. There's a lot of 360 stuff that I may own a physical copy, but I don't own digitally yet as well. So like there's.
Do you have to keep paying for the subscription to keep playing those games?
Yes.
Yes. If you don't pay for the subscription, the game will stay on your thing, and when you
it's locked. I get it.
Yeah, it'll be locked.
So,
but the thing that sold me is when they announced this, and so I did some research, and these games will stay on Game Pass. It's not like they're going to put these on there for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then yank them off. It's the Crackdown 3 is going to launch. It's going to stay on there.
Two things. So Glenn says that EBD Games does not sell Game Pass. Second, so here's my thought: $11.99 a month here in Canada, $10 in the US. If there's a game you want to play, say Crackdown 3, sign up for Game Pass for $12, play the game, and then cancel your subscription.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, where is the incentive to actually buy the game anymore?
There's not. Like, if that's all you're interested in,
right?
The only real way that they can make it so they can keep people on a regular basis is to keep coming out with games on a regular basis that they're adding
more new games on there continuously.
They need their studios to be pushing more stuff out. So every couple of months you're getting a new game in there because somebody will pay. Like, I'll pay for 2 months and play Crackdown for 2 months, and then Sea of Thieves is out. I'll play that for a couple of months, and you have to have something that keeps people on there and not canceling their subscription. So it's really the onus is going to be on Microsoft to keep their subscriber base more than anybody else does.
So I mean, really though, nothing has changed. What Microsoft needs more than anything else is to release more first-party games.
Right? Yeah. Exactly.
They needed to do that yesterday. They needed to do it today. Because it's $12 a month, we said, so that's about $140. So it's about almost 2 games. So if you play 2 Microsoft games a year, it's kind of worth it just to keep the subscription for the year. So if you play Forza every year, and then does Microsoft release any other games anymore?
Well, they either will release a Halo or a Crackdown, or a Gears of War usually.
Halo,
not last year, right? Last year,
but they'll usually stagger between those 2 titles, and then a Forza Horizon every year.
That they do stagger. They haven't staggered Forza or Halo and Gears like reliably.
No,
since like 2010. But whatever, who's counting? Not me, I am. But, good on Microsoft. I know they've got stuff coming. I think it's a good idea. I want to say that I don't think Microsoft would ever have done something like this if they weren't in first place. I don't think they would have done this if they were winning the generation. I think this is a good thing for them to do to try and build up market share again. I really like how it also includes PC gamers in this. So if you have the Game Pass and their Xbox Play Anywhere titles, you can play
all
them
of them
PC.
are now. Yeah,
and all of them are. So that's really good for PC gamers too. I mean, overall, I think it's a really cool, really amazing thing for a first party to do. I could never imagine in a million years Sony ever entertaining any kind of idea to do this. They don't need to, right? And they actually release a lot of first party games. So, but good on Microsoft. This is a really consumer friendly move on them. As long as they start releasing some good games.
But let me ask you one last question because we are pretty much at time. And we only got through three of our news items. This is something I saw on Twitter. Do you think this having first party or new games on here at launch is going to bring down the perceived value of games? If I can just log in and pay $12 to play a brand new game, to me, that kind of brings down the perceived value of games. If I can just get a game for $12,
that's happened.
Why am I going to pay $60 for a game or $70? Right?
That happened with the original Batman Arkham Asylum and Borderlands because Walmart had a ridiculous deal where they dropped those games to almost value pricing at $39 back in the day when games were $60. And the perceived value, particularly on Borderlands, which was a new IP that nobody was really familiar with, was that it's a bargain game because of the pricing. And it did not sell as well because of that, because of Walmart's aggressive push to try to to get that game out there. And
that was a great game, by the way.
It was a fantastic.
Of course
game,
it was.
but the original, like the perceived value of that game, they lost sales because of that aggressive marketing strategy by Walmart. I know Gearbox was quite unhappy that Walmart had done that with their title.
I remember that. I had forgotten about that, but you're right, and it's interesting because now that's like EA's go-to strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Microsoft's doing that to their own titles, though, because I'm not going to look at a Microsoft first-party title, and I'm not going to run out and buy it full price.
No,
I'm going to go to Game Pass and subscribe for a month while I play it.
Yeah. But that's what they want. I mean, you got to remember. I've said this 1,000 times. Microsoft is the most analytical, smart company I've ever worked with. It's crazy how good their analysts are, and they know that the average consumer spends X number of dollars, that this value is going to look better to them, so they're going to sign up and they're just going to get all these games for free, and Microsoft's going to get that continuing subscription because we know that subscriptions make more money than products in stores. Everybody wants to sell you a freaking subscription these days.
Yeah.
So they know that, and they don't care about perceived value. They care about bottom line. They know that this is going to increase their sales enough, or their reoccurring revenue enough, I wouldn't even call it sales at this point, to the point where they're going to make more money than what they had before. So, I agree with you, Sean. It does lower the perceived value of the game. I had the same problem with Game Access. I would go, like, Game Access, Gamefly, whatever it was called. It was like games in the mail. And I would get these games that'd be, like, super awesome, AAA, 95% rated titles, and I'd be like, I got it for free in the mail. I'll play it whenever.
Exactly.
So there's less excitement there. But, maybe that's just something you got to get used to. Maybe the generation of kids growing up today are going to be like, yay, I can't wait for Halo to arrive magically on my hard drive.
Yeah. Well, another thing this does, too, is it gets people more and more comfortable with getting a digital copy of a game instead of heading out to EB and buying the physical.
Yes, you're right.
So if they can cut back on EB is going to hate it, but like if they can cut back on the number of people buying a physical copy of the game, that's less expense for them.
Well, think about what this is. This is a sneaky path to their original Xbox One plan
of the
digital only non-trading games.
Yeah.
This is just their sneaky way of saying, hey, we're still going to do that, but we're going to make you like it now. Because it's been repackaged.
Yes. Yeah, no, I totally agree. That's the ultimate
Sean
game,
was
right?
testifying against the tobacco companies there for a second.
My computer screens went off, so I lost my front lighting. Anyway, we are well out of time, and that's it. Maybe next week we'll talk about a couple other things. So thanks everybody for listening. Where are we? I don't know where we are. I'm going back
at the end. The end.
We are at the end. Okay.
Tell everybody your name.
I am Sean Evans, otherwise known as Ziantane. That is Xiantayne. If you like us, subscribe, comment, checkbox all the stuff on YouTube. Follow the show on Twitter at the OMG Hour. And, of course, follow our gaming archaeologist, Mr. Sid Bolton, at Sid Bolton. And Sid is with a Y.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Second Place. Show notes and stuff like that at omgnexus.com. And you can follow that on Twitter at OMG Nexus.
And most importantly, my name is Jeff. You can follow me on Twitter for a little while longer. I'm probably going to cancel it soon. Sinix, that's SINNIX. I'm done with so much social media. I need so many things cleaned out of my life, and that's going to be one of them, I think.
Nah,
and that's the show, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll be back again next week.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
This has been an OMGNexus.com production.